Excited to have my next guest on the show. It's Vince Morales, who picked up a big win, unanimous decision victory at Rizin 45 over Yuki Motoya. Vince, how you doing, man?
Doing great, man. Better than ever right now, it feels like. How you doing?
Yeah, good. I'm doing fantastic, man. And it's good to talk to you again. As I was saying before we started, it's been far too long. It's like 2 years since I spoke to you last. And now you're on a three-fight win streak. You just went over to Japan. You got this big win. Scale of 1 to 10. How would you rate your performance here getting this win over Yuki?
So my whole plan, I was looking for a finish, maybe trying to force the finish too much. So like right after, I was a little disappointed, and I was feeling like it was like a six. But after going back and watching it, probably closer, maybe 7.8.
Because he's a tough opponent. I mean, I was reading some articles, and I think it may have been like a home biased article, if I'm not mistaken. But some people were picking him to beat you. I don't know if you were the underdog going in, but you're going into his home turf. Did you feel that come fight night?
I felt that around me. I didn't feel that from me, if that makes sense. I was a pretty big, not big, but I was just decent little underdog. But that's my fault for not showing better prior. I mean, I know the kind of fighter I am, and unfortunately, I think it just hadn't shown in some other performances. So that's on me. I take blame for everybody picking wrong.
So stylistically, though, going into this one with doing your tape study, knowing what kind of a fighter your opponent was, what kind of a fight were you expecting, and is that what you got?
It's pretty much what I got. I did think I was going to be able to stuff his takedowns a little easier. I think he timed them well, and by the time I was trying to stop it, I was already halfway on my ass. So be it. But yeah, for the most part, we thought we were going to be able to pressure him in the stand up and find the shots we needed to ultimately get him out of there. Kudos to him for being so damn tough. My hand was still swollen and hurting from just hitting him so hard. But I think I only hurt him maybe twice, and he just kind of powered through. But towards the end of the fight, he was starting to headbutt my punches.
So he was much more of a gamer than I guess you expected.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna be able to break him, but dude's tough, man.
I always find it fascinating, listening in, especially if I'm watching a fight on TV, listening to the corner advice in between rounds. What were the main things that kind of stuck out to you that your team told you in between rounds?
Stick with it. It's working. They told me to settle down and believe in my power a little bit, which I thought I did, but I didn't settle down. So I just kept like I was kind of revving the engine real high, and I think if I would have brought it down just a little bit, I probably could have found a few cleaner shots that would have got the job done.
Obviously fighting in his home turf. Were you a little nervous when it went to the judges, or did you feel like, okay, I'm going to get this win regardless of if I'm fighting on American soil or not?
I was a little concerned when the judges got there because like it just, I've been I feel like I've been screwed over a few times in some fights, and um that was my first thought was like, oh man, he held me down for a little bit in that last round, and I was just immediately nervous. I was like, had they justified as a whole if they're only looking at the end? I was like, but I feel like I beat his ass the first couple rounds. I was like, I was kind of going back and forth, and then when I heard my name announced from the second judge, I was like, oh thank God. It's like, oh, I got it.
It was almost like a relief then.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
Awesome, man. Tell me what it was like, traveling to Japan, fighting there, what the fans were like. I have to imagine that was an amazing experience that you'll never forget.
Oh, I think this is my one of my top experiences of my life so far. It was incredible. I was there for roughly a month and a half. I had to come back in the middle of the training camp for some visa issues that I had to get worked out, and then I got right back there. But the whole time it was super welcoming. Like before the fight, I was getting recognized just in the street just because they saw me from Kai's YouTube channel. Like it was wild, and everybody was just super adamant that I loved Japan and had a good impression of it, which I did. The food was amazing. The people were great. It's just, man, it was to be able to have all that greatness and then on top of that still get a win for the flight home. I hate flying home on a loss. It's the worst. So to get all that and what I feel like was kind of probably one of like a defining career moment, I couldn't be more grateful.
How long was that flight?
The way back, including the layover, I think it was like a 16-hour travel.
That's
Yeah.
brutal.
Yeah,
That
it
is
was it
brutal,
was
man.
rough, and that was all on a Wednesday. So I left Wednesday morning, and then so I got to the airport at like 9 a.m. Wednesday morning over there, and I landed 11 a.m. Wednesday morning in Vegas.
Wow.
So it was
Yeah.
just a super long Wednesday. It was real weird.
Yeah, no doubt. You said the food was good. What was it like? Is there anything you could kind of compare it to?
Oh no, Japanese food kind of stands out on its own, really. Everything I had, literally from the moment I got there till I left, was some of the best food I've ever ate. The Wagyu beef was amazing. I love the udon noodles they have there. I feel like just the standard of like quality as far as food goes over there is just much higher than what the standard is here. So I was I came home in the middle of a training camp and I was like heavier than I way heavier than I normally am. And I was like, oh, I've been enjoying myself. I had to pull it back real quick.
Well, hey, I don't blame you. I mean, another world over there, right? I mean,
Yeah.
this is the first time you've been there. Are you going to go back? Did you sign a multi-fight deal with Rizin?
They want to have a meeting with me closer to the 10th. So we'll kind of see. I want to have a meeting with my management as well and kind of just get things figured out and see where we're at because I feel like I've set up a pretty solid like springboard to send me wherever it sends me. It's going to be good.
Mhm.
So we just got to make sure we aim it properly is what I think. But yeah. Oh man, it was so great. It does feel good to be home, but I miss Japan.
Yeah, well, you're over there for quite some time. How did you celebrate the win? Did you have a couple adult beverages? What did you do?
Oh, of course I did. Come on now. We actually so they let us leave the arena and then come back in, which is kind of cool. So we ran over and grabbed a couple Asahis, nice little tall beers, and then came back and I was drinking them at the arena and then but we had been there all day. We got to the arena at noon, and by the time all the fights were done, I think we had left at like 11:30 at night. So we went back to the office and just kind of did a quick little like thank you guys yada yada and then we went home, went to bed like it was but the travel was still rough, like the trains were going, so I had to hop on the train, I had to go back to the hotel. Man, I think we got back at like 3 a.m. and we just got some random food, started eating, and then finally we were just so exhausted we had to go to sleep.
Hey, well, you definitely earned it, my man. And again, congrats on the win. 3-0 now since leaving the UFC. I got to admit, man, I was disappointed when I saw you weren't going to be, sticking with the biggest promotion in the world. How
Yeah.
difficult was that? Was that a tough thing to get through mentally?
Uh, a little bit of it was, I don't want to say like super mentally, but like it's my ego took a hit, especially because I feel like I definitely belong in the UFC with the best fighters in the world. So it took a little bit of a, I don't know, in a sense I think it kind of helped me get back to where I needed to be. I don't want to say get back like I was there in the past, but like help me grow to a point where I need to be. And I think like it didn't really change my goals too much. It just changed where I was doing them. So it I don't know, allowed me to kind of just focus on myself and get back to just fighting and not really. I spent a lot of time in there like fighting not to lose, I think, and it cost me in some of my performances and fights. So yeah, I'm thankful that like by the end of the year, as hard as it was to get a fight at the beginning, I could walk away with three solid wins. So
Yeah.
I think we set up 2024 pretty solid right now.
So do you feel like there's almost like a chip on your shoulder right now?
I think there's always a chip, like in a good way. I'm always trying to improve myself. I feel like I'm always kind of an underdog. I get some appreciation. I don't think I get what I deserve just yet, but again, that's my fault. So it's something I'm working on, and yeah, with time, I think everybody's gonna come around, and this is just tip of the iceberg for me, really.
Well, you're still only 33 years old. You got a ton of time left to accomplish, whatever you want really in the sport. When you look at MMA and just how it's been growing over the last few years, is the UFC, is it UFC or bust? Like, do you want to get back there? And if you don't, you won't be happy? Or would you be okay if, you went and signed with, like, let's say PFL and you won $1 million, or you sign a multi-fight deal with Rizin and you go back there and accomplish a lot of great things and make some good money? Like, where's your head at as far as that goes? Or have you even gotten to that point yet?
All three of those I think are on the table right now, and that's kind of it's a good problem to have, I think, and I'm just trying to identify the right goals and which ones are going to help me get to those goals. So yeah, we'll see what management thinks once we meet up and everything. I got a great management. I put a lot of faith in what they can do for me. So yeah, we'll see, man. I'm kind of down for it all as long as I can keep fighting. Like that's the main thing for me is this is what I love to do. This is what I enjoy doing. So wherever I can do that and get paid the most, really. And man, if that finds me my way to a championship, great, because I think I definitely belong in there with those guys. But if not, if I can set up my family and my family going forward with some things to not just remember me legacy wise, but like to take care of them as far as their own lives, like that's the goal.
Yeah. And I love that. I think that's honestly the perfect answer. It's just funny because, I talk to so many guys that, have been in the UFC for a while and then they either, don't resign or they're cut. And then, I'll talk to them post their UFC career and 99% of them I'm always like, oh, I just got to get back to the UFC. I got to get back there. That's where I want to be because that's where the best competition in the world is. But there's great competition at all these other promotions too.
Mhm,
And at the
mhm.
end of the day, like if you're feeding your family and you're making a lot of money, that's really, I think what should matter more, right? Taking care of your family, right? I mean, that's kind
Yeah,
of what you're saying.
yeah, 100%. And thankfully, MMA is at a point where like we can we got options now. It's not just the UFC or bust. Like I think that's still a good mentality because that's where the premier challenges are. But as far as look what Impa just did in the PFL. He made $1 million on himself after being a viral knockout loss. Like it's there's plenty of things we can do. We just got to identify it and be able to go after that wholeheartedly. And I think it'll pay off.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And do you have some media aspirations in your future? I mean, look at your studio. It's absolutely gorgeous. Like what are you doing outside of fighting?
So I just started vlogging the whole trip to Japan. I didn't really use this studio for that, but yeah, so I started a YouTube channel on that, running a podcast with my cousin Ricky who fights next week. And that's we run that out of here and I do all the editing and stuff. I was thinking about I'm a big gamer, so that part of this was just for me, but if other people want to tune in and share, maybe I'll get my Twitch fired up again and just get back to some gaming. It's kind of what I do in my downtime, if I got
Gotcha.
any.
Yeah. Okay. Ricky's got a tough fight, man. How do you see that fight going as far as the stylistic matchup of those two?
Honestly, I think Ricky steamrolls him. I think he runs right through Batista. I think uh, I think Batista's he's got some good skills and he's real exciting, but where he lies in those skills and excitement, I think there's some weaknesses that somebody as well-rounded as Ricky is going to be able to exploit, and I think he's gonna take him wherever he needs to at the moment, and he's gonna make him pay. So yeah, I got Ricky all day, but
Mhm.
to this day, I still believe Ricky's one of the best. He's top one or two fighters in the world if he's not champion.
Yeah. I remember when I first started this whole MMA journalism journey, wasn't even doing the video interviews at this point. It was all audio, and I got the opportunity to interview Ricky I think way before he was even in the UFC. And I called him
Mhm.
Ricky Simon. And I still think back about it now and I'm like, oh, you idiot. Like
Yeah, yeah,
how could
yeah.
you not call him Simone? But we all make mistakes. Um
Yeah,
you
that's funny.
obviously he's got to be around you all the time, right? Who are like the main training partners that you typically have day to day?
Day to day, this camp was a little switched up because I did half of it over in Japan with Kai Asakura, who's a dog, by the way. That guy's an animal. But back here at Syndicate, Marab's probably my go-to training partner. He's one of the main ones. Um, Maween is now training with us over at Syndicate. He's a little savage. Ricky, when he comes through, I got in a lot of work with the Basharab brothers over at the PI. I was mixing it up just a little bit with everybody. I think a fresh look and a new way to apply yourself is where some of that growth is. So the more variety I can get, the better I get at being myself.
Tell me, is Marab ultimately going to be the 135 champ?
I think so. I think the first round with Cejudo coming up is going to be it'll be a little tit for tat. But Marab's he's gonna break through that wall. He's gonna run through it, and I think he's just gonna start putting Cejudo on his back, and Cejudo's not gonna know what to do. He's gonna look for a way out.
Yeah, I could totally see that happening. What's your
Mhm.
pick with O'Malley and Cheeto?
Oh man, my heart says Cheeto, and I'm really hoping he can pull it off. But like when I look at the skill sets and other than that kick, how that first fight was going, O'Malley's going to be kind of a problem for him. But we'll see. We'll see if it goes a little longer. I think Cheeto generally gets stronger as the fight goes too. So we'll see. I'm pulling for Cheeto. I hope he can do it.
Do you? I mean, obviously O'Malley's the champ right now, but I feel like that there are some guys at the top of the division, like Marab, like Sandhagen, that are just matchup nightmares for a lot of guys. Like, how do
Yeah.
you feel O'Malley matches up with some of these guys that he hasn't fought yet? Is are his does he have some tough days ahead of him? I guess.
100%. I think especially at bantamweight, dude. Bantamweight's like so dense. I kind of think I kind of think O'Malley's like the I don't want to say it like that, but immediately comes to my mind that he's like the Wish version of Corey Sandhagen. I think Sandhagen does all the stuff that O'Malley does, but generally a little more efficient and better. But O'Malley's got the right fights and kind of he's sharpened things up with his time in the UFC. So I don't know. We'll see. I think he's a beatable champ though. But anybody is on any given day, really, to be honest. But man, I don't know. I'm curious to see if Marab can get his hands on him, how that's gonna go.
I lost
Oh,
your video here.
I lost you. Yep, just a second.
Sure.
For some reason. Okay, I'm back.
Oh, there we
I think
go.
I clicked out of something.
Yeah, no
Um,
worries.
yeah, I'm curious to see what Marab can do if he gets his hands on him.
Yeah, man. That bantamweight division is just absolutely stacked. There's so many killers that are in that division. Much like yourself. What do you walk around at these days? Like, how heavy do you get?
On my heaviest, man, if I'm drinking and eating a lot of chips, I'll be up at like 160, but that didn't happen once this last year. So this last year I think I was more so around like 52, 150, 152. But when I came back from Japan for that couple weeks, I was like 154, 155. So I was heavy then. I don't know what happened. Just that food just got me.
Yeah, each year that goes by, it gets a little harder and harder. As I'm sure you'll probably notice. I'm a little older than you, but so you'll notice it as you get each year that
Yeah.
goes by. Man, it's tough. It's tough to keep it off.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I had the easiest cut of my career going to the lowest weight this last one. I think I just did a lot of the things right that led me up to that point. Actually, I just finished editing the video of the weight cut. I should have got all this up because I wanted to time it so that it would be out for like fight time, but with the fight and then the travel and then still trying to go see Japan, I didn't get any time. So, but yeah, I got the weight cut video dropping next.
Very cool. I have to make sure that I go and subscribe to the YouTube channel. When is the perfect time frame for you, man, to fight again next? Obviously, you want the right matchup, the right promotion. Because you want to take that next step and get where you want to be. But if you get a short notice opportunity in the near future, would you jump on it?
I'm down. I think I'm probably known for that. Like I'm always trying to hop in on short notice stuff. So I don't know if I fight by the end of February. I'm back in the gym come Monday as soon as this jet lag wears off. So I'll be ready for whatever whenever. Ideally if I get like full camp, maybe March.
March. Okay, that makes sense. And as far as, post career, have you put any thought into, what you'd want to do, like whether it's coaching or, some sort of media thing? Like, what would you like to do when you're officially done fighting?
Man, I focus so much on just fighting. It's hard to look at that stuff, but it as I get older, I notice myself thinking of it here and there. And one thing I did that I'm still trying to grow, I just started an app called React Workouts. It's basically like a shadow boxing or a bag work app. It kind of walks you through it'll call out some combinations. You can program the combinations. It'll randomly generate them. It's kind of cool. So I got that app working, and I think that's one thing that I hope it blows up, make some good residual money without really having to do anything extra. And yeah, just things like that. We'll see. I mean, maybe social media blows up too, and I can just YouTube some crap all the time too. We'll see. I'm down for it all, really.
Yeah, you see a lot of that nowadays. A lot
Yeah.
of people really, I mean, that's their full-time job, whether it's a YouTube channel or whatever it may be, they'll just go and post and, all of the income and the sponsorships that they get from that. It's unbelievable how times have changed over like the last 10 years.
Yeah, and I got to witness that firsthand with Kai over there. He's got 1.3 million subscribers on his YouTube, so he makes everything he needs to from that. And then he's got his hand in. He runs a promotion over there. He's starting his own management company. Like he's doing. Oh, he's got a brand. He's got an apparel company that he just started too. That guy's doing all the right things. So I'm
Wow.
taking little notes from some of these people that that are doing it right and really inspire me. And I don't know. I just want to make sure, like I said, that my family and myself are taken care of when I am done with all the fighting.
Yeah, man, I love it. Last thing for me, now that we're in 2024, if you had like one or two things specifically that you wanted to accomplish in this new calendar year, like what is that? Did you put pen to paper for like a specific goal that you really wanted to reach here this year?
Dude, I actually just wiped off my whiteboard for last year's goals, and I've yet to fill that out yet. So I'm thinking when I get with my management, which is I'm hoping tomorrow, we can really sit down and identify and like put it in concrete of like where I want to go, and what I want to do. But if I can get for just the baseline, I'm looking at three fights, big fights, wherever they are, whenever they are, and 3 wins. So I'll start there and then I'll aim accordingly.
Very good, my man. Vince, great talking to you again. As I said earlier, way too long since we spoke last, so it's nice to have you back on and
Yeah,
chop it up a
likewise.
little bit. Before we do sign off, man, I want to give you the floor. If there's anything you want to plug, anyone you want to thank, floor is yours.
Yeah, just shout out my teams, Syndicate MMA and Japan Top Team. They both did everything for me and just really made sure I was ready and prepped for this fight. Definitely go check out my YouTube. I started the series. It's called Vembedded, but the channel is just Vendetta 135, I think. But yeah, Vembedded is what the series is. I got like 3 videos that I'm trying to drop in the next like 2 days, and it's kind of all the fun stuff that led up to fight day and everything. So definitely check that out. I said hit me up on Instagram if you need anything. That's where I do most of my work. But yeah, tune in because I think 2024 is going to be a giant year for me, and I'm looking at making some big things happen.